found floating, but empty. The true story of Mary Celeste. Introduction. The ocean is a scary place. It is huge, it is deep, and it keeps its secrets. Throughout history, thousands of ships have sunk. We usually know why. A storm, a war, an iceberg. But sometimes a ship doesn't sink. Sometimes a ship is found floating perfectly in the middle of the ocean. The sails are up, the cargo is safe, the food is in the kitchen. But there is one thing missing: the people. This is the story of the Mary Celeste. It is the most famous ghost ship in history. In 1872, it was found drifting in the Atlantic. 10 people were on board when it left New York. None of them were ever seen again. Did they jump? Were they killed by pirates? Did a sea monster attack them? Or did they just vanish into thin air? For 150 years, detectives and historians have tried to solve this puzzle. In this video, we are going to board the Mary Celeste. We will look at the clues. We will separate the facts from the myths. And we will try to find out what happened to the lost crew. We will learn the vocabulary of sailing, disappearance, and mystery. Put on your life jacket, we are going to sea. Chapter 1. The Discovery. The date is December 4th, 1872. A British ship called the Dei Gratia was sailing from New York to Gibraltar. The captain, David Morehouse, was on deck. He saw a ship in the distance. He looked through his spyglass. Telescope. That's strange, he thought. The ship is moving like a drunk person. It was swaying. The sails were not set correctly. Captain Morehouse recognized the ship. It was the Mary Celeste. He knew the captain of that ship. He knew he was a good sailor. So why was the ship moving so badly? Morehouse signaled, "Do you need help?" No answer. He moved his ship closer. He shouted. Silence. Only the sound of the wind and the waves. He sent a small boat with 3 of his men to investigate. They climbed onto the Mary Celeste. "Ahoy! Is anyone there?" Nothing. They walked around the deck. It was empty. They went down into the cabin. Empty. They looked in the kitchen. Empty. The ship was in good condition. It wasn't sinking. There was food and water for 6 months. But the 10 people, Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and 7 crew members, were gone. It was as if they had been erased from existence. Chapter 2. The Missing People. To understand the mystery, we must understand the people. Sometimes in horror movies, the characters are teenagers who make stupid mistakes. But the people on the Mary Celeste were professionals. Captain Benjamin Briggs was a serious man. He was religious. He didn't drink alcohol. He had spent his whole life on the sea. He was not a man who would panic easily. He reminds me of the captain of the Titanic, experienced and respected. If you watched my video, The Tiny Key That Sank the Titanic, you know that even experienced captains can face disaster. His wife, Sarah, was traveling with him. She brought her sewing machine and her piano to make the ship feel like home. And their daughter, Sophia, was only 2 years old. The crew consisted of 7 sailors from Germany and America. They all had good reputations. So, we are not looking at a chaotic group of people. We are looking at a disciplined team. Why would a disciplined captain abandon a safe ship in the middle of the ocean with his baby daughter? It doesn't make sense. Unless something terrified him. Chapter 3. The Clues. What was found? Let's look at the evidence. The sailors from the Dei Gratia searched the ship. Here is what they found. Clue number 1. The lifeboat. The Mary Celeste had one small lifeboat. It was missing. This is the most important clue. It proves that the crew left intentionally. They didn't just fall off. They packed into the small boat and left. Clue number 2. The navigation tools. The captain's sextant, a tool to navigate by the stars, and the ship's papers were gone. This means they planned to navigate to land. Clue number 3. The rope. There was a long, thick rope trailing in the water behind the ship. It looked like it was tied to something. Maybe the lifeboat? Clue number 4. The cargo. The ship was carrying 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol. When they checked the cargo, 9 barrels were empty. Clue number 5. No struggle. There was no blood. There was no sign of a fight. Nothing was broken. The myths. You might have heard stories that the food was still warm on the table, or a chicken was roasting in the oven. These are lies. These stories were invented later by writers, including Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes, to make the story more dramatic. The reality was simpler. The ship was wet and messy, but calm. Chapter 4. Theory 1. Pirates and Mutiny. So what happened? Let's look at the theories. Theory A. Pirates. Did pirates attack the ship? Probably not. Why? Because the cargo was still there. The alcohol was worth a lot of money. Pirates don't kill people and then leave the treasure behind. Also, there was no sign of a fight. Theory B. Mutiny. Mutiny is when the crew attacks the captain and takes control of the ship. Did the sailors kill Captain Briggs? Again, unlikely. The crew had good records, and if they killed the captain to steal the ship, why did they leave the ship floating in the ocean? Why didn't they sail it to a port and sell the cargo? Also, all their personal belongings, clothes, pipes, money, were left on the ship. Sailors in 1872 wouldn't leave their money behind. Chapter 5. Theory 2. Natural disasters and monsters. Theory C. Sea monsters. In the 19th century, people believed in giant squids that could pull a ship down. While giant squids exist, they live very deep underwater. There has never been a proven case of a squid eating a whole crew and leaving the ship perfect. Theory D. A waterspout. A waterspout is a tornado on the ocean. Some people think a waterspout hit the ship. Maybe it scared the captain. But if a tornado hit the ship, there would be damage. The sails would be ripped. The furniture would be broken. The Mary Celeste was almost perfect. So, this is unlikely. Chapter 6. Theory 3. The alcohol explosion, the most likely truth. Now we come to the theory that most historians believe today. It connects to the cargo, the alcohol. Remember, the ship was carrying 1,700 barrels of raw alcohol. And remember, 9 barrels were empty. Alcohol can be dangerous. In hot weather, alcohol expands. It creates fumes. Gas. If the fumes build up in a closed space, they can cause an explosion. The scenario. Imagine this. It is a hot day. The temperature in the hold rises. The barrels start to leak. The hold fills with invisible, explosive gas. Suddenly, Captain Briggs hears a noise. Boom! A small explosion blows off a hatch cover. Or maybe he just smells the strong fumes. He panics. He thinks, "The ship is going to explode. We will all burn." He makes a quick, desperate decision. He orders everyone to get into the lifeboat. "Abandon ship! Everyone out, now!" They rush. They don't take their clothes. They don't take food. They just take the navigation tools. They lower the lifeboat. But Captain Briggs is smart. He doesn't want to leave the ship completely if he is wrong. So, he ties the lifeboat to the Mary Celeste with a long rope. They float behind the ship, waiting to see if it explodes. Panic causes us to make irrational decisions. In my video, Emergency, Going to the Hospital, I talked about how scary it is when you don't know what is happening to your body. Imagine that fear, but you are sitting on top of a bomb in the middle of the ocean. Then, tragedy strikes. Maybe a big wave comes. Maybe the wind gets stronger. The rope snaps, breaks. The heavy Mary Celeste sails away, pushed by the wind. The tiny lifeboat is left behind. The crew watches their ship, their only safety, disappear over the horizon. They are alone in a tiny boat, with no water and no food, hundreds of miles from land. Chapter 7. Vocabulary Review. It is a tragic story. Let's look at the words we use to tell it. 1. Ghost ship. A ship found with no crew. 2. Adrift, floating without direction, not controlled by anyone. 3. Mutiny. A rebellion by sailors against their captain. 4. Cargo. The goods, products a ship is carrying, like alcohol. 5. Lifeboat. The small rescue boat. 6. Fumes, strong, dangerous gas or smell. Conclusion, the unsolvable puzzle. We will never know 100% what happened. The ocean doesn't have CCTV cameras. There were no witnesses. The crew of the Mary Celeste simply vanished. But the story of the Mary Celeste teaches us respect for the sea. It shows us that even on a calm day, with a good ship, life can turn into a mystery in seconds. The ship itself was sailed back to America, but it was considered cursed. No sailor wanted to work on it. Eventually, it was wrecked on a reef and sank. But the legend floats on. What do you think happened? Do you believe the alcohol theory? Or do you think it was pirates? Or aliens? Write your theory in the comments. I love reading your detective work. If you enjoyed this mystery, please hit the like button. And if you want to know what happened to another famous ship, Watch my video, The Tiny Key That Sank the Titanic. Stay safe and don't panic. See you in the next video.